welcome to the sampler. Today we're doing June. So I'm going to start out with quarter square triangles. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with two squares, and we're basically going to make half square triangles with the two squares. So I'm going to take the lighter fabric and I'm going to mark a diagonal line on the back. So let me do my line. Okay. Here's my line. Put these together. Right sides together as best I can. I'm going to pin it so nothing moves. Okay, so it's pinned, right sides together. I'm going to sew 1/4 inch on both sides of that marked line. Here it needs a new needle. All right, so I've sewn on both sides. I'm going to cut on the marked line. All right, so I have my two half square triangles, and I'm going to make sure I press them the same direction. So in this case, I'm going to press them towards the red. And that's really important to make sure you press them to the same side. So here's one, and here is the other. Okay, two half square triangles. So what I'm going to do is with one of them, I'm going to do a diagonal line. I should have a different color pen besides red. But that's what I have. I'll make sure it's really dark. Okay, so I marked it, and then I'm going to take the other half square triangle and I'm going to put them together, making sure that, say, the reds are on opposite sides. And then you can kind of, as you put them together, you can kind of shift it around and you can feel where your seams are butting up against each other. So you make sure it's really nice and tight, you don't have a gap there. And then I am going to pin this like we did before. And I'm just kind of using my hands to make sure that that seam is right up against each other. I mean, if I were to put a pin in, it's like that pin has no point. So if I put a pin in, this is just for demonstration. If I put a pin in here, it shows that it's right at that seam on the opposite side. So I want that to be nice and tight. So I'm basically making another half square triangle. So on the other side. take out the pins. I've sewn on both sides of this marked line, and now I'm going to cut it on the marked line. And what we end up with are quarter square triangles. And I like this method because it keeps it nice and stable. If I had cut out all these triangles separately, it's really hard to keep them from stretching. And you can see that it just came out really nice in the center, you know. And we ended up with one extra. I don't need this one, so I'm just going to put it over there for now. And I'm just going to trim off these little bits on the ends because they're just going to add bulk. Okay. So you will probably want to use scissors.
We like your bad habits.
Yeah. There we go. Doesn't matter, right? Okay.
That's like the kids at the table.
Yeah. So here we are, and then we are going to take some of our fabric C, and I'm going to put it on the sides like this. Okay. So I'm just going to sew these on the ends. So we're just basically building the block from here. One side and then there's the other. So let me do these, and then I'm going to press. So when I press this, I'm just going to press it out to the side so it lays nice and flat. All right, and then I am going to, so I also need the top and bottom, so it's going to have the green here and here with the little reds on the end. So I'm going to take one of those rectangles and I'm going to sew the bits of red on the end on both sides. I'll show you what I'm going to make because I already made one of them. So this is what I'm making. Put a red on the opposite side. Okay, so on this one I pressed it towards the green, and I'm going to be consistent with that. I'm going to press it towards the green. So this is what I have. I am going to, I like these together. So I'm going to sew these together and I'm going to pin where these intersections are. where the seams meet, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pin the opposite side as well. Okay. Okay, so I pretty much sew right up to the pin, like a stitch or two before the pin, before I take the pin out. All right, let me do the opposite side, 'cause it's all ready to go. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. I just need to press it. I'm gonna press it out. Looks good. Okay, so just like we did before, I am going to sew a strip, this time of the white, on the two sides. Okay, and I like my ends to meet, so I start off at one end, making sure the ends meet, and then I'm just holding the opposite end, or you could pin it, so that the other end meets. Okay, I'm gonna do the opposite side. These fabrics are really pretty. Okay, and I'm gonna press this out to the side. Then I'm gonna take, this is gonna be the next thing I make. So I'm gonna take that same sashing and put some reds on the end. So let me do that. Okay, so as far as pressing goes, I'm gonna press it towards that white piece in the center, not towards the red. Right, so I'm gonna put this on the two ends, and I'm definitely gonna pin it. So I'm gonna pin it where these seams meet. And because of the way I pressed it, my seams are going in opposite directions. Right, and then I want my ends to meet. So I'm gonna make sure them ends meet where I start. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. Okay, again, I pinned where the seams are. Make my ends meet. So let me press it. All right, and then the last side. So there we go.
I like the colors too.
Yeah, for Layla